Alright, have you got something coming up on your phone now?
Uh, Not yet. Just refreshing. There we go.
Yeah, we do. Alright, sorry. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Zandvoort for round 3 of the Premier Series. I just had quite an embarrassing accident with the stream stuff there, but we're all good now. Already got 5 people watching. Apologies for the late stream. I accidentally streamed this to my YouTube, so if you want to go and have a look at the first 3 minutes of Man and Natty's commentary, go and check that out. Personal plug done. Then Joe XX coming to the line, 1 minute 16.3, so definitely not improving on this particular lap time. But I'm joined once again by the lovely
X-Strategy. Hello guys, and like you said, we are here for round 3 of the Premier Series at Zandvoort, an absolute 11, winning the first 2 races. Let's see if anyone can take the top step today.
Yeah, certainly, Natty, and in fact, no one has actually ever won 3 races in a row in the Premier Series before, so if Absolute 11 was to do this, it would be the first time ever in the history of this series. But I'm sure all of the other drivers will be wanting to stop that particular streak, and they might have some extra luck with confirmed sources, Natty, that we have a completely wet race. It's going to get very soggy out there for the drivers today, and how do you think that's going to impact the race, Natty?
Yeah, it's definitely going to put kind of strategy into a little bit, where the drivers underfuel the car and run it in lean through of the corners, and how they manage their wet tyres. They might stretch them out for the entire 36 laps. It will definitely be tough, but we saw, I think it was Hampton last season with France, take his wet tyres about 26 laps, so, or maybe not that far, but it was really far into the race, and I think it was 23 maybe, so, and yeah, the wet setups as well. Hopefully these drivers have got their wet setups, and it's definitely going to be a test to them, especially around this track.
Yeah, certainly. So I can't actually go. There we go. Yeah, finally. Okay, stream back up on my phone then. So Shanks are currently setting the provisional pole time of a 1 minute 9.4, coming in on his in lap, the runner-up from the first season of the Premier Series. And yeah, let's see what Cash Stengel can do now on an out lap. Let's bring you one of our famous commentated laps, and as Cash Stengel starts the lap here at his home race across the line, running onto the grass a bit for Cash Stengel. Now down to turn 1, braking just before the 50 meter ball, down into 3rd gear. Will short shift up through the gears on exit now in towards turns 2 and 3, the first of the newly banked corners here in Zandvoort. Down to 2nd gear, keep it nice and tight to the inside, little lock up there on the front left, as it is so easy to do around this track. And now through the undulating latter stages of the first sector, as a Renault off at the next corner, I believe it is, so yellow flags will be out on Cash Stengel's lap. Luckily though, we are in the game, don't have to slow down for that. And now through turn 6 in towards turn 7 and 8, beautifully hooked up there for Cash Stengel. He's got done the fastest first sector of anybody here, goes through the next corner, turn 9, and now towards turn 10, the very long left-hander, which brings us out onto the back straight, and the second of 2 DRS zones here in Zandvoort. Now down the back straight, DRS zone once again, brake just as the curve on the left starts, down into 3rd gear. Ooh, just misses the curve misses the apex on the inside there. Now short just up through the gears once again towards the penultimate corner, down into 4th or 5th gear, driver preference. Staying in 5th, lets the car run out wide a bit onto that curve. Be careful not to take too much of it, or you will invalidate your lap. Cash now off the final corner, keeps it nice and tight to the right hand side. What's it going to be for Cash? It's a 109.4 and just misses out, Natty, on pole position.
Yeah, good lap from Cash Stengel. Also just noticed GSY Bates was off at the penultimate few corners. He had a little bit of a loose rear through the hairpin of turn 12, and luckily he was able to get out the way of the oncoming drivers who were on their lap. But like we said while we were live but not live, it is a really close grid at the minute, especially in the midfield. And got top.
Oh yeah, certainly,
fourth.
Certainly, Natty. I think you've got first to, I'm going to call that first to 17th, all within 1.3 seconds of each other. This goes to show how close the field is. In fact, Nathan might be about to change that, as now, yeah, we've got first to 18th positions now, within 1.3 seconds of each other. The field spread separated by 1.6 seconds. So, Tiger, you've done a very good job of the prelim races, mate. So you've got a very, very close grid here for you guys to enjoy at home. And speaking of the people at home, let's go and check the chat here. Hello to Codfather, points finisher from yesterday. Robert Codfather, great to see you in the chat. Piero is back again, hopefully not making any wild predictions that eventually come true. Rick Holt, another Super League driver, saying hello. Thunder saying that he nearly died. Well, he's avoided death on this occasion, hasn't been sent to the Shadow Realm just yet. Currently sits in a 1 minute 10.0 there, and his Red Bull teammate Wolfie coming out just behind him, an all-Irish lineup at Red Bull for this season. First time we've ever had an all-Irish lineup in the Premier Series as well, actually. Pierre saying let's go McLaren Red Bull, definitely. Dazza, yes, we can confirm that it's going to be a completely wet race, so I wouldn't expect to see anybody using the medium tyres in this session. Alex Pearson, I believe it's also Jax, hello to you as well, great to see you back for another edition of the Premier Series, and we're just going to take you through the penalties really quickly as the drivers wind up for their outlaps here in Zandvoort. So, in the Premier Series from last race, we had GSY Bates picking up an LLP2, Cash Stengel picking up an LLP1 for that collision with Napula. Joe's picked up an LLP2, which is very unhappy about before the race, but currently sits in P6, and will be getting a 3-place grid reduction from wherever he finishes in the race today. Isaac Smart with an LLP2, and Alex Gunnar Mack also picking up an LLP2 as well then. So, Thunder about to start his lap. Let's see if anyone else is coming to the line, but we've got Wolfie round even, in the middle sector, and he's lost a bit of his front wing here, Natty. Could that be qualifying over for the Red Bull?
Yeah, there's only 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in the session, so I'm guessing he's going to come to the pit. Oh, no, he's going to stay out and do a lap. So he's going to try and improve from his current 1 minute 10.8. Does have that wing damage though, and
sorry.
It's going to be tough.
Sorry, made a little mistake there. There is no wing damage on Wolf. It looked like he had damage from the camera shot, but no dice on that particular occasion. Then Wolfie currently sits P18, will be doing his best, I'm sure, to try and fix that. As Ted coming to the line to start his lap. His teammate Tiger Assassin, though, will be the next car across the line, I believe, coming through the middle sector. 7 tenths down on his time, though, there, Natty. And that's not what he really needed at this point in qualifying. Let's see who else is on the lap here. Joe has just started his lap. Hakan Nizamoglu is 2 tenths up on his lap time, then coming through the latter stages of the lap now, down towards the final couple of corners into 5th gear for turn 13 before slinging it into turn 14, flat out, big banky boy corner. DRS open once again. Hakan brings it to the middle of the track. What's it going to be for the Turkish driver? It's a 1 minute 10.8, so it doesn't improve on his position. And you've got yellows in the middle sector as a chance that goes even faster than that. He won a 9.2 from the German.
Yeah, really good lap from Shanks, who's now 2 tenths clear of F1 Lover, who is in a lap, but I'm not sure. I think he's down his time through the first 2 sectors, so I think he's just going to prepare himself for another lap with the final 50 seconds to go. But it's still really close up front, and still anyone can still get pole.
Yeah, and just that being said, F1 Lover's now gone up into P2, 1 minute 9.4. It's down on this lap, a long way down on this lap. I think will be coming back into the pits, and indeed does. Joe coming around to complete his lap. Well, no, doesn't. Bails out of the lap here, Natty. That's going to be qualifying over for Joe then. Not enough time to go back out, as Ted's put himself now up into P8. And who's just coming to the line? Got a Haas coming to the line of Napula. On an outlap, sorry, you were going to say?
I was going to say, I think Joe invalidated his lap. I'm not sure where, but had to abort it anyway. Came to the pits, was retired from the session, so that's going to be qualified with him over. They've got 5 seconds left in quali, and the Racing Point is
in the pit.
Just not going to beat a lap. And it says he was 2 tenths up, so actually comes into the pits in that lap.
JMB Surreal improving his lap time, but not position. Bon Evil now, so no, Absolute 11 even, coming to the line. Now what's going to be for Absolute 11? It's 5th position for the current points leader. Thunder now across the line, stays in 10th. Wolfie will be next car across the line, stays in 16th position. We've got the Ferrari now coming off the final corner. That's going to be Ben Roberts to the line, and it's only an 11.7 for Ben. I think he forgot to open DRS there. Bon Evil only 10th, Natty. So Bon Evil's only 10th now, 1 minute 10.0. That pushes Thunder 50-50 out of the points now, or out of the points positions for the moment, as Napula is 4 tenths up on his time now. Natty, this could put him in towards the upper echelons of the top 10. So Napula around the final corner, DRS open, the last lap of qualifying. Then where can the Finnish driver go? It's P8, 1 minute 9.9. Big improvement there from Napula, and that could be stating his claim for the win here. But it's going to be Cash Stengel actually, who snatched pole position at the end there in his home Grand Prix.
Yeah, Cash Stengel was actually a 10th down through the middle sector on his time. in his personal best. They've done really well to find the 2/10 back in the in the final sector, so to just snatch pole by 700ths of a second. And it's an Alfa Romeo 1-3 and Mercedes 2-4, so it's going to be an interesting constructors fight in this one. Like.
Yeah, the mixture of turquoise and red there, slightly reminding me of the 2017 or 18 season when Ferrari were good. But anyway, as all of the cars' AI start racing each other around the lap, as I'm sure we're going to get this qualifying session sorted soon. There we go, yep. Yeah, and obviously Cash Stengel will not be able to win this race, picking up an LLP1 from last time out in China. But let's take you through the grid here for today's race. Cash Stengel on pole, Shankster in second, F1 Lover in third, Frozer fourth, Absolute 11, our points leader in fifth, Guillotine sixth, good qualifying from the Irishman, Joe in seventh, Napula first of the Haas cars in eighth, Ted in ninth, and JMB Surreal rounds out the top 10. Bonival just outside that top 10 in 11th, Thunder lines up on the 6th row in 12th, Tiger Assassin 13th, Before You Die 14th, Ben Roberts lines up in 15th, Wolfie 16th, Fate 17th, Spanel 18th, Hakan Nesnamoglu 19th, and Isaac Smart, only driver to get disqualified from this session, will round out the grid in 20th and last position then. But wet race Nasty, very, very unpredictable. I don't know which race is going to go. It could be a mad race, or it could be a fairly processional one. I mean, maybe the dirty air won't be as much of a factor with the cars going so slowly, but we just don't know yet.
Yeah, well, the spray's going to be it's going to be a challenge as well, especially through the high-speed first and middle sector. I mean, the last time you and I commentated on a wet race at Zandvoort, we don't know what happened in the final few laps.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. It's not allowed.
It's going to be anyone's race, I think, today. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to call it until the checkered flag has been waved.
Yeah, certainly. It's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say. But drivers currently readying up on the grid. There's going to be some massive setup changes, I would imagine, from practice to the race. Pierre is saying, why is it always raining? I don't know. Maybe someone from the Netherlands can tell us if it rains a lot there. I don't know if Dutchie's watching this evening, but if he is, hopefully he can give us a bit of insight there. But yeah, there'll be a wet race here for the first time in the Premier Series this season. Can Absolute 11 make it 3 from 3 for the first time ever in the Premier Series? No driver has ever done that before then. As the drivers take us away on the formation lap, it's intermediate conditions here, Natty. So not necessitating whatever, the full wets, but still very, very damp indeed as the drivers kick up a lot of spray as they move away from their grid positions.
Yeah, definitely. Green striped intermediate is the starting tyre of choice, and riding on board with a few of these drivers, I think it might. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to be too long until we see the full wet tyres. It looks pretty heavy riding on board with a few of these guys, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see who might make a call for the wets, who's going to stay on intos, how the weather develops over the full 36 laps of this race.
Yeah, it certainly will. In fact, I think we had a few drivers who were very quick to ready up there on the grid. One such of those was Bonival, who may not have applied her strategy, her setup even, straight away on the grid there, so she might be at a bit of a disadvantage, or she may have used her qualifying setup as her wet setup so as not to cause any increased confusion. Napula currently trying to overtake Ted a bit early there, as Cash Stengel's going to lead us around this formation lap then. So Natty's prediction is that we're going to have the full wets before the end of the race. Well, I think one thing's for certain, these kind of races can always throw up a surprise winner, and the Premier Series never fails to disappoint in terms of action. Got 36 laps ahead of us today for the drivers. They will all be damp, they will all be soggy, they will all be incredibly treacherous. And let's see who can come out on top today then.
Yeah, turn one as well. It's definitely going to be an interesting corner, let's say. It's hard enough in the dry, especially with that kind of auto spin inside curb, and in the wet it's just going to be more of a challenge when 20 cars try and all approach it at once.
Yeah, certainly. So I'm going to take the UI off the screen then. Let's have a nice natural start to this race. Going to keep the track map up on the corner so all of you lovely lot at home can see where your favourite drivers are out on the track. Hello to Jitsi Kev as well, who's cheering for his old teammate, Absolute 11, who starts this race from 5th position then, but we're going to get the drivers going to 5 red lights any moment now then for the start of the Dutch Grand Prix here at the circuit of Zandvoort. Hide the UI once again, the lights come on, the revs build. When they go out, we're going to be ready for 36 laps here in Zandvoort. It's lights out and away they go. Very tentative start from the front row. Cashdegel immediately moves over to Shankster, who has a bad start and gets a more wheel spin than the other cars around him. And into turn 1, we've got the Williams with Guillotine now, crashing into the other cars. We've got a McLaren off, both McLarens off in the background, but Cashdegel still leads and in this race. And we've got a safety car, Natty.
Yeah, the Mercedes of, I think that's Shankster and Guillotine have come together as well in the run down towards turn 4. We had a Ferrari who didn't get off to the best of starts. I think that's Isaac Smart now, had some wing damage. And yeah, both McLarens and an AlphaTauri running wide at turn 1. So a chaotic start already. The virtual safety car has been deployed, gives us the opportunity to calm things down a little bit. Lets the game also reset, and there's been a crash under the virtual safety car towards the back. It's Bates and Isaac Smart, I think. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it was just people trying to run as close as they can to their delta, but Bates and I think it's Isaac Smart now with full wing, no wing on that Ferrari. I think Spaniel might have been involved in that as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, Natty, Spaniel has also been caught up in that as he lets Isaac Smart go through there. Isaac having no front wing whatsoever. That could see this virtual safety car stay out for a bit longer then, but action straight off the bat here. Shanks are going from P2 on the grid, Natty, to P10 by turn 2. Virtual safety car is in. Let's go back to some green flag racing then. Yellows and sector 2, those will be the cars that don't have a front wing at the present moment. Let's stay up here with the front though, as Cash Stengel still leads this race from Frozer in second, F1 Lover in third. Now Joe making his way up to 4th, Bon Evil up to 5th, Natty, Absolute 11's down in 11th from 5th on the grid.
Yeah, I think he might have been the AlphaTauri who ran wide or was forced wide into turn 1 with the 2 McLarens. So if he wants to win his 3rd race in a row, it's going to be tough for him to make up the 10 places.
Joe sending it down the inside on F1 Lover. Beautiful move from the racing point. Yellows in sector 3 once again. That's gone back to green now, so all good there. Joe taking no prisoners here on the opening 2 laps. Makes his way past one of the Alfa Romeos. Can he catch up to the back of Frozer and Cash Stengel here?
Yeah, the battle for the lead is definitely going to be an interesting one. We've got the Renault and JMB Cyril getting past Thunder. They're going to go wheel to wheel through this very technical session. Managed to make it through, but the few drivers with wing damage are into the pits. Those yellow flags were for Ted, I think, at the final corner, might have lost part of his end plate. But yeah, the driver's still very close after this opening lap, so Guillotine's going to send everyone down inside at Thunder.
And he's going to stay on the inside now for the next corner, turn 8, and it's going to force Thunder out towards the grass. Thunder keeps his nose in there, taking no prisoners from Guillotine now, has the inside line for the hairpin. Can he run Guillotine out right? Guillotine, though, gets the traction, and he's going to go through here. The Williams blasting past the Red Bull. His head down now in towards turns 11 and 12. Nothing that Thunder can do on the outside. Can't get the switchback. Oh, can he? Puts his nose in there, and there's contact between the two. He spins the Williams round, and now Jankster's round as well. Oh, we've got a pile up. We've got a pile up here in the final sector. There's more contact now between the Haas and the Red Bull. Tiger Assassin manages to seek through, but all of that was caused by Thunder sticking his nose in a place where it really shouldn't have been there, Natty, and he's caused a massive pile up there.
Yeah, it's like Spa 96 all over again on that opening lap. Just I think Shankster as well lost it in front, which caused kind of a 2-car roadblock with Shankster's Mercedes and Thunder's Red Bull, and everyone just wanted to get through. Didn't really work, and so I'm
looking at Joe here, Nat. He was already all over the back of Frozer as they make their way through the middle sector. Nothing that Joe can do from this point on the circuit. Has to wait till we get to another one of those overtaking points so he can try and outbrake the car in front of him and get himself up into 2nd position.
Yeah, it's been a good start from Joe. I think he qualified somewhat in the
high midfield. Oh, Joe's gone for it! What a move!
Back on the inside into his turn 10. Gets to move down up into 2nd place, and we'll be fighting for the lead of the race. Unfortunately, he has that penalty though, but I'm still he's going to give it all.
Well, our top 2 both have LLP1, at least an LLP1 to be added to their time, so currently Frozer is still winning this race then. But Joe is absolutely on fire here in the wet conditions at Zandvoort. Currently finds himself in P2. Bon Evil now looking at the back of F1 Lover as well. For P4, the Alfa Romeo seem to be struggling in these damp conditions here, Natty.
Yeah, some people, well, we don't know whether people equipped with their wet setup or not, but it's actually been an absolute chaotic start here at Zandvoort. We've only had 4 laps.
Oh yeah, certainly, and we've had much drama. So it's like Zandvoort and Rain, the perfect combination for a bit of drama, as Guillotine going very close to the pit wall there, and Wolfie trying to get past Tiger Assassin off the final corner. A lot of cars actually, Natty, making a bit of a mistake, getting a bit of an oversteer movement off of that final corner, and it's causing some interesting tyre marks in the rain, let's say.
Yeah, speaking of mistakes, 7 drivers, I should say, have currently made pit stops for front wing damage. So unfortunate for them, but hopefully they can get back into this race. A safety car is definitely going to help. So we kind of got this battle at the back and battle at the front as well with drivers who picked up wing damage.
Oh, yellow's in sector 3 now. That's going to be Spannel who's round.
Spannel and Isaac Smart both having their individual incidents. Isaac Smart after turn 12 and 13. Spannel in the final corner.
And Joe here, Natty, has closed up massively on the car in front. Spannel's retired from the session here. He's done it out on the track, so Stu's may have to have a look at that one. Isaac Smart spun again here, Natty, and he's also retired from the session, but his AI has to be careful as he's managed to stay out of the way of all of the cars in the final sector then. What yellow's in sectors 1 and 3. Joe does the fastest lap of the race at the moment here, Natty. And
he's 7/10 behind Cash Denver and pushing.
Yeah, Joe looking very good to take an early lead here in the Premier Series. Still got those yellows in Sector 3 as Isaac Smart's car tries to find a place to peel off in the first sector. Tiger Assassin now finds himself, though, up in 10th position. I'm going to stay with these front 2, though, Natty, as they are nose to tail at the moment.
Yeah, just saw Ben Roberts and Before You Die... Ben Roberts getting past Before You Die down in towards turn 12, and Ted now putting the Haas under a bit of pressure, but like I say, the front 2 still with 5/10 from each other, and it's going to provide an awesome fight for the lead.
Yes, certainly is. Ted getting past Before You Die as well, somewhere in the lap then. Joe still looking at the back of Cash Demo. Cass has got so much more usable energy though than Joe, so that might be why Joe's been able to make up positions in the early stages of this race. But Cass will be able to do everything that he can, deploy that energy in the right place to stay ahead of the racing point. Yellow's in Sector 3 again. That might be GSY Bates, I believe, Natty. It is indeed Bates, who is slowing down to a halt there nearly, as Joe has got a bit of a bad exit now out of turn 13 and on towards the main straight then. No, you would argue not close enough to try and move. It's Boniva close enough to try and move now on F1 Lover. Got the not DRS open, of ERS deploying down the main straight, but no dice on this occasion. Wolfie's still looking at the back of Tiger Assassin as well as we go through the big banky boy of turn 14.
Yeah, it's kind of at that stage of the race now where after all the incidents have happened, drivers are now getting used to the track conditions. You've got people are starting to find their confidence with the track conditions. We're not having as many incidents, and as you say, we've got battles kind of happening everywhere. We've got Boniva closing on the back of F1 Lover. Joe's lost a little bit of time to Cash Demo through the middle sector. Gap now 1 second, around 1.1 between the Racing Point and the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, they're just looking on the rear wing of F1 Lover here. Currently, Napier also joining that battle for 6th position then. And Haas showing to be a very good comeback here for the Finnish driver, back to full-time racing in the Gavra F1 leagues after having a season off, dealing with some personal issues. But he's back now, running in P6 for the Haas team.
Yeah, he's tucked in nicely behind Boniva in F1 Lover. And he's got his fuel light on, so he's probably in lean mix, trying to get his wheels through the corners. Yellow flags, I think that's Bates' car.
Yeah, it was, and now Bonival is as close as she has been to the back of F1 Lover's car now. Can she make a move into turn 1? Natula pulls out of the spray. Surely I don't think that's to send one down the inside. Indeed it isn't. So all of our cars are just lying astern, kind of, and just choosing to prioritise track position over risking anything and going for a dangerous move. As a Shankster who has had absolutely no luck, Natty, in this series, currently finds himself in P12, 10 places below where he qualified. He's going to be behind the Williams of GSY Bates, so that is now a lap down from Shankster, but down into P12. When is this man going to get some luck, Natty?
I don't know. It's round 3 and he's had so much bad luck in this championship so far. Just riding on board with Wolfie through the final corner, got a massive tank slapper almost lost the car as Thunder and Ted having their battle running towards turn 1. Ted on the inside, Thunder trying to hold it around the outside, but the McLaren's just able to get ahead of the Red Bull. The battle for 15th place. These two guys getting wing damage in the open phases of this race, now battling for 15th.
And Ted going wide, getting a bit of a better edge than Thunder, and nothing that Thunder can do here. The one-time podium sitter in the Premier Series currently finds himself down in 16th position after that lap 2 incident down at turns 11 and 12. GS5H just getting out of the way of other cars there, so that's good sportsmanship from the Williams now, and Bonnie still all over the back of F1 Lover, but not able to be close enough to make a move here. So it looks like we're going to need the mistakes from some drivers here to get some action out of this race a little bit. As Napila's now dropped back to a second to Bon Evil now, so even if the DRS was enabled, he wouldn't be getting it.
And I've just looked in the chat, according to Cryptech, Joe lost the car on the final corner and got wing damage. No visible wing damage, so it might just be a light screen end plate damage. So that might be why he's been dropping off a little bit in these last few laps. As Bon Evil's almost pushing F1 Lover, I think there's wing damage from the Alpha Tauri. There is wing damage, front left end plate.
Both,
so
yeah.
Bon Evil going to the back of the Alfa Romeo. Really unfortunate for Bon Evil. Might hit this lap or might try and stay out for as long as she can.
Oh, and the Alfa Romeo went a bit wide then, actually, through turn 9 into 10 now, as Bonnie picking up that front left end plate damage. That's going to leave her vulnerable now to Napula, who's hungry and looking to make up another position here in this race. Currently has 71% of his ERS left, and it is all over the back of the Alpha Tauri. Virtual safety car, and before you dies out. Oh, and Shanks to spun! Shanks to spun Natty in the middle sector.
And that's really unfortunate once again for the Mercedes driver.
Oh,
just
wow!
Bad luck.
The Haas has been, well, no other word for it, it's been vaporized. And the Haas of Before You Die was just sat on the main straight with 2 wheels on his wagon, and that car was going absolutely nowhere. I've got cars in the pits now, and Napula and Bon Evil choosing to pit and go on to another set of the intermediate tyres. Napula pitting for a new front wing, Natty.
Really interesting here. Bon Evil also having the wing damage comes in to repair it. I'm not sure where Napula got his wing damage from, but that's definitely not going to help him out in this race.
As absolute 11 and J&B Surreal very close on track as Absolute gets a swapper on out of turn 4 and down towards 5 and 6, now in towards 7. Still nowhere to overtake here really for the Alpha Tauri, but you were saying, Natty?
Yeah, I was just going to go to that battle between Absolute and J&B Surreal. The Alpha Tauri closely behind the Renault, and they're trying to make the move as soon as he can. Starting in 11th, up into 6th place. Only got 5 more cars ahead of him to make it 3 wins from 3, but it's going to be a tough job from him.
Yeah, certainly. Let's not forget though that Joe will be dropping down to 5th position as it stands, and Cash Stengel will be dropping down to 2nd with their respective penalties. This race, 49 people watching, so great to have so many people tuned in, guys. Some of the largest audiences we've ever got for one of these streams. So thank you. Yellow's in sector 3. Safety. Oh. Okay. So F1 Lover comes into the pits then, as Cash Stengel has overtaken the safety car, so it will be out. He will be able to come into the pits and not lose any positions, so all of these cars will be allowed to go past the safety car. But that's... Ooh, the safety car's blocked Frozer! The safety car's battling Frozer.
Battle!
Yeah, nice, you have a lot of experience with the safety car crashing into things. I've got Absolute 11 making a pit stop, Guillotine making a pit stop, Tiger Assassin making a pit stop as well. But why has that safety car been called then?
I'm just trying to have a look, because I know in China last season in the Premier Series we had what everyone thought was a strange safety car, but in fact there was a front wing lying in the middle of the tracks. But I'm not seeing anyone with damage. I'm just going to check the race director to see if anyone's pitted for a new wing. Someone might have just been running a bit slowly, so that could be why the safety car's been brought out.
Possibly.
I mean, someone in the chat wanted the safety car, and here you go. Your wish is come true.
Granted, yeah. Lewis told the safety car to hurry up, says Cryptech. Connor saying, "Oh my, 51 viewers." By the way, record stream. I think it actually might be might be close to the record. I'm not too sure what that is, Techers, but we'll look into it and try and get back to you. 23.3 seconds now separates F1 Lover and Cash Stengel. So in theory, they should have enough time to go into the pits, put on a fresh set of boots, and come back out again. As both Cass and Joe head for the pits, and Frozer will be joining them, I am sure, as will JMB. Surreal safety car still out on track, and I think Thunder has not been allowed to go past the safety car, though he is now. Oh, and nearly loses it to boot then. So GS58's the only car. Oh, JMB still going for a no-stop strategy, maybe.
Oh, if he can do it, that's going to be impressive. Let's give him that. I mean.
Oh, Joe's going to come out behind F1 Lover here, Natty, and Joe's lost a position to F1 Lover. And to Frozer in the pits. So that pit stop sequence has gone horribly wrong for Joe. Did he have to fix it? Did he actually have damage?
He's repaired his front wing. 11.6 second pit stop for the Racing Point.
Oh.
Got him down to 5th place.
And that was very strange there, because you couldn't actually see any cosmetic damage on the front wing of that Racing Point. But obviously it was worse than we originally thought. So cars now lining up behind the safety car, looking for the last car in the queue now. Oh, as Joe's gone past F1 Lover under the safety car, I'll have to give that position back, I think. Oh, did F1 Lover go off the track there, Natty? I think he did.
Possibly, I wasn't paying attention. There seems to be trading positions again, but it doesn't look like...
Yes.
Oh no, it looks like F1 Lover's got through.
Yeah, Joe's given the position back, so all good there from Joe. As Thunder currently our last car in the queue coming through turn 4. Shouldn't take too long to get all the cars backed up behind the safety car here. Quite a short lap. So this will allow all the cars to close up to each other once again. Oh, Castego spun! Castego spun, he has to wait! No! Oh, no! Oh, he's hit Joe! And Cash Stengel. Joe gets a 5-second time, but no, Cash, you cannot be doing that. And Cash Stengel...
Yeah, he's got front left end plate damage as well. Looks like he's overtaken the racing.
He's trying to get his positions back, but he's going into the pits. That's not really on from Cash Stengel there. He might be copping another penalty for that. Spun out on the track, then rejoined into the path of other cars. Very lucky not to cause another incident, but he's gone back into the pits for a new front wing and a fresh set of tyres then. But all of that now, Natty, means by staying out, JMB Surreal leads this race.
Yeah, if he can make these tyres go to the end of the race, that'd be some miracle from the Renault driver.
Yeah, Gav, I do share your opinion there. What was he doing? That was not great. Yeah, that wasn't great. That was not fantastic. But anyway, JMB Surreal now leads the race we were just talking about, and Thunder coming through turn 1. So in theory, we should be able to get back to some green flag running here. Let's see who are our biggest movers and shakers from the first half or so of the race. Trying to get that up on the screen if I can remember what button to press. There we go. Positions changed. So JMB Surreal up 9 positions. Natty. The next biggest upper is Bon Evil, who's gone up 6. Sorry, no, Wolf Even, who's gone up 7 into 9th position. Then Bon Evil and Hakan, who have gone up 9 positions, 6 positions even, respectively. Sorry, I can't speak English or maths today. Cash Stengel off that spin is down 11 positions, and Shankster down 12 positions, Natty. In fact, both cars that started on the front row, the safety car will be coming in this lap, are currently out of the points here.
Yeah, it's been a really unfortunate start for both of them. Two McLarens trading places under the safety car. But yeah, we've got the safety car in this lap, and hopefully back to green flag racing soon enough, and hopefully we don't have a Mugello style crash through
hopefully.
This banked final corner.
As JMB Surreal becomes a de facto safety car, who decides how fast the pack goes, weaving to get a bit of heat in those intermediate tyres as the safety car making its way round the final corner now, the big banky boy. And where does JMB Surreal decide to go? He's kept the field very slow. Oh, it's
Ted's off.
Oh, big.
Ted spun under the safety car.
Oh no, but JMB Surreal, that's not going to matter to him now as he leaves the field away down the main straight. It's got big crash in the background here, Natty. And Yellow's in sector 3 once again, but no.
Into the pits.
And he's in the pits again.
Bon Evil and Joe, we've got so 3 wide into turn 1. F1 Lover in the middle of Bon Evil and Joe. Bon Evil getting moved on up into 3rd place.
F1 Lover looking at the inside of Bon Evil as well, and Joe looking at the inside of the Alpha Tauri. But here comes Absolute 11, working it to the outside. Can he get a double overtake here? Yes, he can. Absolute 11 up into 4th position with an absolutely barnstorming move there from the championship leader.
Yeah, a good start for the first half. I think what happened towards the backs, I think the back of the pack thought that the leaders had gone, but obviously such a long run down towards turn 1, so they leave it as late as possible. And I think Ted.
Oh, Guillotine! Guillotine's gone down the inside of Joe on his contact. I'm not really sure why Guillotine went for that move. That was never really on, but he hasn't caused damage. And Nakula's gone through now as well into 7th position. The Ferrari going past Wolfie now as well. Bit of a swapper on the exit there. Sorry to interrupt you, Natty. As now Wolfie's going to be able to keep the position, but Nakula under pressure from Guillotine, and Penn Roberts trying to send it on Wolfie as well.
Yeah, I think just to sum up that safety car restart, I think Ted spinning at the penultimate corner caused a little bit of a car park towards the back of the grid, and I think Cashdown got more wing damage on that, so that's why he's at the back.
Yeah, our front two here really not having any luck whatsoever then, but JMB Surreal now leads this race. He's stayed out on those intermediates. They're now 13 laps old. Maybe he knows something that we don't, Natty. Is the rain going to get worse here this evening?
Potentially. It doesn't look like it's clearing up anytime soon. It seems to be consistent from the start of the race, but there are still plenty more laps to go, just over 20. Anything can change.
Yeah, certainly. It's the 2 Alpha Tauris now running absolutely nose to tail through the first sector. Absolute 11, 2/10 behind Bon Evil. His teammate, will we see some team orders here? Oh, Tiger! And he's got front end plate damage. Virtual safety car. That feels a bit unnecessary, really. We've had more safety car. Yeah, we've had more safety car laps than actual racing laps. It feels like at the moment, as we're going to be using up our allotted 5 safety cars fairly quickly. It seems this is the 3rd of 5, I believe. I think, unless I'm not doing maths right.
I think it's our 2nd virtual safety. That's a quick virtual safety car. Ted's got a drive through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
And it just goes from bad to worse from McLaren.
And JMB Surreal also has a drive-through penalty.
Oh. And that's massive for this race. It seems like you don't want to be in the lead of this race at the moment, Natty, because it's a curse. It is cursed. As now
So I was just about to compliment JMB Surreal, saying these safety cars are really going to help with his tyre management. Yeah, he's got to come in and serve a drive-through. And
that will have to be served within the next 3 laps then. So JMB Surreal really not doing himself any favours and copying that particular penalty, as Ben Roberts also comes into the pits. Ted, obviously, with that drive-through that we just covered, Natty. But this race has just been turned on its head once again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Ben Roberts. He got the front wing changed as the Tigers into the pits to repair his front wing damage. The other McLaren, Ted, straight through serving his drive-through.
As Tiger Assassin released from the pits and back out onto the circuit. Oh, we got a car off. GSY Bates off at turn 1. Yellow's in sector 1. That shouldn't necessitate a safety car, but throws are now all over the back of JMB Surreal. He wants this move on track. I don't think he knows that JMB Surreal has got that drive-through penalty. The gap has come down now to just 0.6 of a second between the two, and we've got a completely different race here now. Absolute 11 is now back in the hunt for the lead of this race.
Yeah, it's just absolutely chaotic. The guys who are at the front are now towards the back in the midfield.
Oh, Shankster!
Mercedes.
Oh, no, Shanks are going slowly, but nothing. Oh, he's lost his front wing, yeah. Front left end plate damage for Shankster. And JMB Surreal stays out. He will be getting. Yeah, definitely. He will be getting warnings on his dash telling him to come into the pits and serve this drive-through penalty. But if he doesn't serve it now, that could be a disqualification for JMB.
That'd be huge unfortunate. He has been leading this race. He's going to have to serve a drive-through, which would put him around about, I'd say, 11th or 12th maybe. But Shanks is into the pits, so he might just
say 12. Yeah, I think I'll slot him behind Hakan. just going back to my interval gap. So you've got a four-way fight for the lead here, Natty, as Absolute 11 still not able to make an impression on Bonival. Bonnie not doing her teammate any favours here in the middle sector, holding him up by a massive amount, you would argue, as F1 Lover coming under pressure from Joe, but F1 Lover is wide, and that's going to give Joe a run now out of the corner on the overtake button. He's got slightly less than the car in front of him. Can Joe make a move? Going to pull to the inside line, shows his nose, but doesn't go for a move on this occasion. Nakula as well, like once again, looking very hungry in the background here. Joe does have that 5-second time penalty, but I am sure that will be taken off because that was ridiculous. Shouldn't have gotten a penalty for Cash Dingle's actions there. He goes wide. That could be a corner cutting warning there for Joe. Now down the main straight once again. Joe with the ERS open, and now gaining on F1 Lover. Can he make a move into turn 1 too far back on this occasion as JMB Surreal does serve his drive-through penalty then and will fall out in 10th position, it looks like, Natty.
Sorry, I was just riding on board with Frozer through the final corner. He was tucked so closely behind the Renault. He almost went sideways into the final corner.
Bonnie's got past Frozer. Bonnie leads the race. How has that happened?
Yeah. Frozer, massive snap of oversteer through the final corner, and then Bonnie got the run and moved on in towards turn 1, I believe.
Well, that would be that will certainly be a disappointment there for Froze, who now falls to second in this race. But Bonival, Natty, who started 11th, currently leads the race, and we're about to go past the halfway stage of this race, Natty, and I honestly can't call it. Joe was looking very, very quick on those intermediates beforehand, but he's currently stuck behind F1 Lover and can't make a move as of yet. Nakler as well looking very quick behind him, but we've got various trains of cars now, and we just have to... Oh, F1 Lover's only lost it again! And he gets a big oversteer move now. That could give Absolute 11 a chance into turn 1 to get past the Mercedes. Can he pull out to the inside and go for a move here on the Mercedes? Frozer goes slightly defensive, forces Absolute 11 the long way round as Joe finally gets past F1 Lover down the main straight as well. Yellow's in sector 2, that's a McLaren off. And is that Tiger? No, it's Ted. Ted's gone round, but no damage done.
He did still have to Ted, but Joe getting up into 4th place while the front 3 still continue to fight for their podium positions. And remember at the start though, they were questioning whether Absolute 11 would make it 3 from 3. Well, it's looking slightly more possible now for the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, certainly looks like it could be even an AlphaTauri 1-2 if Frozer keeps letting these small errors sneak in to his driving. 5/10 of a second between Absolute and Frozer now. He's gone wide again, Natty. Frozer really not loving these conditions, although it must be said not as much as his teammate, who currently finds himself down in 15th position and battling with Ted for 14th at the moment.
But yeah, these guys battling are just allowing everyone else to catch up. Wolfie's gaining a bit on Guillotine, and Guillotine's going up to the back of Napula as well, who's tucked right closely to find F1 Lover. Joe's been able to pull out a gap and be hunting the front 4, so despite his LLP penalty, could make a 4-way fight for the lead.
Yeah, certainly. Napula now looking at the back of F1 Lover.
Absolutely's got wing damage, and he's coming to the pits.
Oh,
he's hit the wall in the final corner.
Oh no, but I mean, Napula's trying to make a move on F1 Lover down the main straight. Natty's just commentators cursed Absolute 11. It's happened again, Natty, at the exact same corner as last season. Absolute 11 in the pits with wing damage. He will fall out of the points as well here behind Hakan, who will move up into 10th position, he would have thought, but... Natty, another podium runner falling out of the points due to a crash.
It goes Guillotine on Napula. Napula getting a bad exit, and Guillotine getting the move down up into 5th place. And that was close between the Williams and the Haas. Last alternate was all this season for me, and Absolute 11 in the rain. 2 in 2 seasons, but this time it's health was.
That was could have been a massive accident there. Very well done from both drivers. Very ballsy from Guillotine as well, to keep his foot pinned through the middle sector. Now finds himself behind F1 Lover, who has certainly been struggling recently with his pace over the last couple of laps. But Just when we think that Absolute could make it 3 from 3, he falls back into 11th position. That being said, he's making a move now on Hakan for 10th and does get the move done before they even go down the back straight. So Guillotine now be looking to get past everyone. The results already keep jumping from car to car. There's just so much going on and trying to catch all of it. Has now down the main straight once again. Overtake button on the Guillotine, but no dice into turn 1 on this occasion. But we've got cars catching each other everywhere here, Natty. And I don't know how to call this one. I honestly don't.
I mean, I know at the start where we said we don't know who's going to win this, but it just seems like the winner doesn't want to win at this rate. You have the leader spin or crash or speed under the safety car. It's absolutely chaotic.
And I think we've had about 3 or 4 different... Oh, we've got yellows in sector 1, and that's Tiger. Is it? No, sorry, Ted even? No, it was Ted. Ted spun at turn 4.
And hugely unfortunate again for the McLaren driver. I think that's his third mistake of the evening, not having the best of races. Here at Zandvoort, might not be his track, might not be as comfortable in the wet weather as some of the other drivers around him. But Napula all over the back of Guillotine now, the battle for 5th. He's almost pushing the Williams through the middle sector and just eyeing himself up for a move, got on the curb on the inside, and that's definitely not going to help his battle for 5th place as Norris drops that second behind the Williams.
Yeah, certainly is the McLaren in the background there. That is Ted, who is a lap down. That is not for position there. Shanks currently all over the back of Tiger as well in the middle sector. But let's stay up here and with this battle for P5 on the road. F1 Lover having another bad exit out of the final corner. Guillotine's at the belly. Oh, Guillotine has nearly lost it and speared into the pit wall. Manages to keep it all together though and stay on track down into turn 1, but nothing that Guillotine can do at this stage of the race.
It's almost like these drivers don't want points.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Well, I mean, if they keep crashing out, I think they'll all get points eventually.
Absolutely chaotic scenes here at Zandvoort. Still anyone's race to win. Ben Roberts setting the new fastest lap of the race.
As Cash Tangle putting pressure on Hakan Nisnamoglu for P11. If you can try and get this place, would put him closer to a points finish, trying to resurrect his race somewhat.
Sorry, Tiger's hit the wall on the final corner. He's got front left end plate damage. That's going to allow Shankster to have a run into his turn 1, and the Mercedes sends one down the inside of the McLaren, gets them done up into turn 1. Hugely unfortunate for Tiger, just clipping the wall on the outside like so many drivers have done in this race, and that's going to be hugely unfortunate for him.
And Joe now, Natty. Joe on the back of the battle for the lead now. And he, again, Joe showing like tremendous pace, but he just can't about get past these other 2 cars and run away with this a little bit.
He's about 1.2 seconds behind Frozer. Frozer doesn't have any ERS. Bonnie Evil does have some to use as well. Joe around that 20-30% mark, so he's pulled the gap to F1 Lover, and it's just whether he can get back on the Mercedes in front. He's pulled it within DRS, but obviously there is no DRS because of the weather. Oh, here comes Ben Roberts, around the outside of Hacker. A really good move from the Ferrari. The Racing Point still going to try and keep his car towards the inside. Ben Roberts going to try and sweep this one round the outside of the Racing Point. This we've done up into 11th place.
A very solid move there from the Ferrari driver of Ben Roberts. The current battle out in front, still 0.9 seconds between 2nd and 3rd, but 1.3 seconds between Bonnie and Frozen. Bonnie doing her best to keep the car on the track. Has had a few wet conditions as well in the weekend league where you've raced against her, Natty, as well. Guillotine though, this battle for 4th is the closest battle that we have out on track, but no one's just quite close enough to go for a move here.
Well, a lap ago, Joe was 1.2 seconds behind Frozen, now he's 6/10 behind the Mercedes, so he's pushing and gaining in that Racing Point. Doesn't want to push too hard, otherwise he might make a slight mistake, which can be very costly around this track, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, and that actually brings up a good point that Piero made, as in will they go to the end of the race, or will they need another pit stop? Ooh, we just don't know. So, well done, what, 13 laps Bon Evil and Nakula have both done on those intermediate tyres. I have no idea how long the Inters can go for.
I mean, I'm guessing the default strategy would say half and half, but it's just how much longer can those intermediate tyres? So on average, I'd say 18, but there's still 13 laps in this race, which means they're going to do 26 laps Bon Evil on those intermediates.
That seems like a bit of a tall order. And could that bring Absolute 11 back into play then? As Badger and Mace saying that, making a very good point in the laps, in the chat as well, saying that their tyres will be smashed. Gavra Racing said, Gav saying that JMB did 22 laps on a set of intermediates, so that requires 4 extra laps then from Bonnie and Nakula to try and get to the end. It's less of a problem for the likes of Joe and Frozo, who've only done 11 laps on those tyres, and certainly for Absolute, who's only done 3. So Absolute should be good to the end of this race, but will the others?
Yeah, and the top 4 and 5, Nakula and Guillotine as well, have been battling for the majority of this race, so that's not going to do their tyres any good as well. It's going to be close. Guillotine actually comes into the pits.
Oh, and there's your answer then, Natty. So they do have to make another pit stop here. So this will see Guillotine now fall out a long way behind, surely. Oh, Joe basically pushing the Mercedes of Frozer around turn 4 and through 5 and 6 now in the wet with the spray. Let's look back from Frozer now as we make our way through the sand dunes here in Zandvoort and through the big long radius right-hander that is turn 7. And Joe, you can see in the pink Mercedes, the Racing Point, really hounding our gearbox as we make our way through the middle sector. Then 141 comments and 44 viewers. Lovely to see you guys. Thanks for all of the engagement from the community in the chat as well. And now Joe is so close to Frozen, but he's just too far to make a move. Frozen's got so much more usable energy than the Racing Point of Joe behind him with the ERS modes, and that could be Joe's undoing here, as Frozen could just deploy all of that juicy energy down the straight where Joe can't overtake him.
Yeah, I'd say turn 1's probably Joe's best overtaking opportunity on this track, especially in the wet. It's going to make things a lot harder for him.
Oh, he's going to try and go for it though, around the outside. No, he's gone. Yeah, Joe's got the move. And Frozen's kind of let Joe go through there, and Joe moves his way now up into 2nd place.
F1 lovers into the pits, and Joe using all of his ERS to get the move done. Up into 2nd place, will beat the motor down to 5th place if it finishes as it does today. But the 2 Red Bull boys, can we just add, they were down in 14th and 15th a couple of laps ago. Now went to 5th and 6th.
Just goes to show how much of a topsy-turvy race this is, but I assume they will be pitting again, as a lot of the other drivers have already come into the pits here as well. So all of a sudden, it looks like Absolute 11 could still win this race. At the moment, in P7, all the cars in front of him have to make another pit stop. Oh, Bates is retired. Yellow's in sector 2. Is that? I think that's a manual retirement though, so there shouldn't be any kind of safety car. As Hacken comes out of the pits now, still got those yellows. Hopefully those will go away. We won't need another safety car to get them clear. But all of a sudden here, Natty, as I was just saying, it looks like Absolute 11 could still win this race. Currently sits in P7, 1 point, about a second ahead of Guillotine behind. Although Guillotine is on fresh inters and is pushing now. So again, it's been thrown up in the air, this race. Completely thrown up in the air.
It's anyone's race. Like we've said for the past 26 laps.
Oh, Thunder and Absolute now going wheel to wheel into the penultimate corner, and Thunder defending for his life. Can Absolute get the cut and under though? Gets the switchback Merchant there from Absolute 11. He makes his way past Thunder and up into 6th position.
Joe's caught up to the back of Bon Evil.
Yeah, I was about to mention. And are those tyres starting to go off on Bon Evil's car? It looks like they are, because Joe is very, very close behind the AlphaTauri. If Bon Evil were to pit now, she'd come out behind Absolute 11, Natty.
Wow, this race. You still can't call who's going to win this one.
No, I honestly can't. I honestly can't.
How many? It's just going to be a test of how many of these front 5 are going to stay out, nurture their tyres with the path for the next 10 laps. Who might pit? It's just gonna. You can't call it.
No, you can't. You honestly. I think we've got a couple of Absolute 11 fans in the chat as well. Gav saying that Joe can't win actually. Gav, because he does have that penalty. But Pierre is saying now it's too late. They have to go to the end if they want to win.
Here comes Joe.
Oh, that being said, Joe's going to try and make a move on Bonneville here into turn 1. Does he send it down the inside? No, he chooses not to on this occasion. Guillotine getting past Thunder as well in the final sector, and F1 Lover, sorry, trying to follow him through now as they go through turn 13, but no dice on this occasion. And Joe is pushing Bonneville through round this lap here, and he really wants to get up into the lead of this race, at least win the race on track and still finish in 4th position. That's the best he can do today. Will he make a move in the first sector? That would be bold. It doesn't go for it, decides to back out of the move though, and very wise driving there from Joe as well. Yeah, this is sector 1, and is that a McLaren? I think it might have been Ted trying to get out of the way of some other cars. So good sportsmanship from the McLaren driver. And Frozen now is actually catching back up to this pack now. Absolute 11 has made his way past Wolfie and into P5. As Pierre was saying, that if they want to win this race, they have to stay out here, Natty. Surely.
I mean, we've got 10 laps to go. 10 slot, absolute 11, 10 seconds behind, or 12 seconds behind Napula. He's going to have to be gaining 1.2 seconds a lap to get 4th place alone. It's going to have to be a lot more if he wants to finish on the podium in this race. Obviously, Joe has that penalty.
But another thing that we don't know here, Natty, is, well, of the top 3 at the moment, you would argue that the top 4 even, that Bonnie and Napler would be the most likely to come into the pits, as they've got 18 laps on those tyres respectively. We still have 8 laps to go in this race. That's 26 laps on a set of intermediates, and that seems like a tall order.
And I think using Thunder as a good example. He's not had any pace, to be honest, on those 17 lap intermediate, sorry. He's been overtaken by Guillotine, Wolfie, Absolute, and is now under pressure from F1 Lover, Cash Denver, and Ben Roberts in the next few laps.
Oh, we've got McLaren off again, and that's Ted who's gone off at turn 1 as well.
But those worn inters definitely don't have pace in this race.
Yeah, certainly. As a petition for the interslicks to come out, Ted going slowly again through turn 4, but nothing too bad there now. Oh, Joe getting a bit squirmy on exit. He's too far behind. He's got no ERS to use against Bonneville. Bonnie has 62% energy left, you can see in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Joe behind just 25%, and Frozer with more than both of them, just clocking over 70% there in 3rd position. But Bonnie now can just deploy all of that ERS in a straight line, and there's nothing that Joe can do about it.
Yeah, Joe on those slightly fresher tyres, he's going to have to try and push. I'd say push if he's going to the end, but it's make or break really for the top 4.
Yeah, certainly.
So the one stop.
We could have another "is that Glock going slowly" moment. But yeah, they've got a 4-way. We've got a 4-way battle. Oh, actually, they've got 2-way battle first of all between Guillotine and Wolfie. Guillotine making his way now towards P6. Got a 5-car battle even, a 4-car battle, sorry, between the 2 Alfa Romeos and Ben Roberts, currently fighting over P9 in this race. F1 Love with the freshest tyres out of this 4 and looking for a move on Thunder. Can he make a move down the inside? Too far on this occasion. Ted has chosen to retire from the race in the pit stop as well. F1 Love all over the back of Thunder as they make their way through this first sector. Can he make a move anywhere here? Gets a bit twitchy on the front end in the dirty air of the Red Bull, so nothing doing there as the AI of Ted now comes out of the pits. But what we don't know, Natty, is which of these drivers is going to make a mistake next. I know they've all been getting used to the track conditions and such, but it's still a very treacherous circuit, and there is absolutely no room for error here. They're not even going flat out through the big banky boy of turn 14, as Froze is gaining all the time on Joe in the spray. Does Froze go for a move into turn 1? Nothing doing there. Ben Roberts getting past Cash Stengel now on those intermediate tyres. Ben Roberts really coming alive here in the intermediate conditions, pushes his Ferrari now up into P10.
Yeah, and just looking at the gap between Absolute and Napula, and Absolute's on 10 lap fresher intermediates, but like that, it's still around 11.4 seconds, so he doesn't seem to be gaining on those fresher intermediates, which is quite strange for how he drive. He's got, I don't think he's got damage actually. No, he hasn't got damage.
No, it doesn't have
damage.
It's
just interesting that he's not gaining as much as we thought.
Yeah, certainly. Absolute 11 really not making anywhere near enough of an impression on...
Oh, Joe for the lead! So he's gone down the inside of Bonneville.
and that might have been his best chance now, but he needs to stay in the slitching of the Alpha Tauri. Can Joe make this move into turn 10? He's going to pull out to the inside. He's going to go for it, is he? And tries to just put Bonnie off there, but no dice on this occasion. 4/10 of a second now between the two. In fact, the gap's almost exactly the same as Frozer. Gets a bit of a swapper run on exit of the corner. There's a 5-way battle going on for P8 now as well, as Joe is... Oh, Frozer's round! Frozer's in the brass! And Frozer's nearly gone out of this race. Joe's trying to get past Bonnie now down into turn 1. He's got no ERS left though here, Natty, and Bonnie's starting to pull away from us down the straight, just using a bit more of her spare ERS. Let's go back down into the battle for 8th position. It is currently a 5-car train. Thunder's at the head of it. Can he make anything? Can he make this defense work for the final 5 laps of this race? But I want to go back up here to the front because Joe's going for it again in turn 4. They're going to run side by side for the first sector. Bonnie's got all the tyres. Joe's on the inside. Joe takes the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix, but Bonnie's going to be coming back at the racing point now, but doesn't have the grip, Natty, to make an overtake stick.
And I'm sure Joe is delighted, but as fuming. It's got to be frustrating for himself, knowing that he's leading this race with 5 laps to go. He does have that penalty though, which is going to be huge unfortunate for his result at the end. He looks in such good form on this race.
Yeah, certainly that's going to be crushing for Joe. I am sure if the results stay as they are right now, then, but Thunder is still managing to hold off F1 Lover and the rest of the gang in that battle for 8th position. In fact, Cass has fallen back a bit. He's got front wing damage, Natty. Cass has front wing damage again. He's trying to hold up Ben Roberts now to try and let his teammate get away a bit. And Ben Roberts is going to go down the inside. There's contact between the two. And Ben Roberts trying to force his Ferrari down the inside. Cass defending though. And around the outside, here comes Ben Roberts with a full front wing. But J&B Surreal's now behind this as well, trying to get a drive on the Ferrari. Gets a bit of a swapper on exit, and Ben Roberts now trying to make a move on Cash Devil into turn 11, but can't do it just yet. Needs to wait for the straight or maybe the final corner if Cash Devil makes another mistake there. But did Cass collide into his teammate potentially, and is that why he has the damage now? But through the penultimate corner, Ben Roberts pushing the Alfa Romeo, and Cass has gone wide. Does Cass come into the pits? Does he stay out? Ben Roberts now all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, still to go down the main straight. Cass stays out to try and fight this to the end. He goes defensive, and Ben Roberts crashes into the back of the Alfa Romeo. They go wheels into turn 1. There's more contact. J&B Surreal tries to sneak through as well. Cass gets the exit though. There's more contact. He's hit the Ferrari. The Ferrari's round now, and there's more contact between the two. And Cass just about keeps his 10th position, but the stewards will be having a look at that. That's definitely a vulnerable incident. But now Bonnie has lost second to Frozer and possibly the lead of this race. Those tyres are dead, Natty. They are gone, as now she's coming under pressure from Napula as well. He's got no grip in Natty. He hasn't got any damage. Napula round. Oh, Puncher for Bonnie. Front left.
And there's 4 laps to go, so are the leaders going to make it to the end?
And 22 laps on a set of intermediate Spawn Evil with a front left puncher. Joe and Frozer have done 20 laps on their intermediate tyres. With 2 laps to go here, Absolute 11 could still win this race.
This is where the spice really goes up a notch as Cash Tango's
retired. Retired.
What is happening?
I don't know.
We still got 3 laps to go, and Napula's done 23 laps.
So,
John, sorry.
What? So Frozer's now all over the back of Joe. Frozer's going for a move into turn 7. Nearly went for a move into turn 7, but nothing that Froze could do on this occasion. But this race just been blown absolutely out of proportion here. Bonnie getting a puncture on lap 32. That first position is cursed, Nancy. You do not want to be there. But Froze is now looking to get the lead of the race on track, but he has to be close. He has to be careful, sorry, because Napula behind is all over the back of the Mercedes. Could Napula take his first win in over a year here in Gavra at the Dutch Grand Prix for the Premier Series? What a race this has been. What a race this has been. As Froze are only 3/10 of a second now behind Joe. I think those tyres are also dead on the racing point here, Natty, and Joe's got no grip. Absolute 11's now closed up nearly 4 seconds in the last 2 laps. Here comes Frozer down the main straight. Joe's got no defense. Frozer to the inside. That's going to be Frozer up into the lead of the race on track, but both of them, Natty, done 22 laps on these intermediates. Joe's going to try and fight it round the outside. That's going to be no room left there by Frozer. The wheels will be the first set to Joe on the outside into turn 3, and it's any more contact. Joe keeps the lead of the race. He's fighting this so hard. It's allowing Absolute 11 now to close up onto the back of this pack. 7.6 seconds, 7.4 seconds now, separating Absolute 11 and Napula. Joe defending for his life, but remember he's got that LLP2, but he's gone wide, and here comes Frozen into turn 7, but has to back out of it. And what a race this is!
Well, it's got so many vibes of real life GPs. We've got the 70th anniversary Grand Prix where the punch just happened at the end, and wow, I don't know who's going to win this one.
I honestly don't. Lap 34, 36, they must be so close to puncture limits now. But now Napula has got so much more ERS than the two cars in front of him. Napula looking like a dark horse to take the win here as well. Don't forget, Joe has that LLP2. He will drop 3 places from wherever he finishes. Joe will not win this race, but who will it be out of Napula and Frozer as they go down to start the fight, the penultimate lap of the race? Natty, Absolute 11's now 5.8 seconds behind this group, and here comes Frozen around the outside of the final corner. Frozen are battling with Joe into turn 1. Joe goes defensive. Frozen has to go to the outside. He's going to commit to the outside line. Goes around the outside at turn 1. Joe positions his car beautifully, and Frozen can't get past at this stage. The penultimate lap of the race here, Natty. And Napula's fallen back a little bit. Can Frozer go for a move into turn 4? Nothing that he can do there, but now Absolute 11 only 5.2 seconds behind. Only 5.2 seconds behind.
Well, I mean, we saw Napula do, I don't know how many laps in China, and it's hard to assess. I can't quite remember what it was. He made those tyres go pretty far in that race. Are those intermediates going to hold up for one more lap? He would have done 26 laps on the intermediates.
That is
and
crazy.
These guys have done incredible to save their tyres up until now, even with this constant battling up front.
For Absolute 11, Nat, he's gained another second on this lot, but you would say that without an incident, it's not going to be enough for Absolute 11 to win this race. Joe still leads on track through the final sector of the penultimate lap. Frozen really has 2 more chances to get past Joe on track, and he's had a bit of a swapper on the exit of turn 11, and that's going to, sorry, turn 12 even, that's going to give Napula all the encouragement he needs to try and get past the Mercedes. Does Frozen just sit in line here and wait for Joe to cross the line and get that penalty? But now Frozen down the main straight, going to go for this on track, of course, is he is a racer. Down and towards turn 1, 3/10 of a second separates them. Can Frozen go for a move here? Decides to back out of it, though. On this occasion, the German driver not close enough to Joe in the racing point. 173 comments. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in now for this epic race. Absolute 11 is now 2.9 seconds, 2.8 seconds behind. Napula's going very slowly here, Natty. 26 laps on those intermediates, and there's still no puncture there. So that just shows how much Bonnie was pushing on those tyres. As now Joe's going slowly as well, and Frozen's really close into turn 7, but nothing that he can do here. There's nowhere to overtake through turn 7, but he's so close behind Joe. He's tucked up behind the rear wing of the racing point, the pink Mercedes, as it was cheekily dubbed in testing last season. But Frozen trying to make a move down the inside. He's got an oversteer moment again on the final lap of the race here then. Absolute 11, 3.1 seconds behind now. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it without some kind of incident here between the top 3. Napula's going to send it! Napula nearly sent it down the inside of Frozen at the final corner, and Joe's going to do it through the penultimate corner. Frozen defending for all his life from Napula as well, but Joe, it's going to be Joe as he rounds turn 14 through the big banky boy for one final time. Joe's going to take the win here, but he won't take the win on penalty. It's going to be Frozen who wins his first ever race for the Premier Series. Joe drops to 3rd, Joe drops to 4th, and now Guillotine in the stays ahead of Bon Evil and will take 5th position. But what a race that was! And in fact, the 5-second penalty there for Joe, amending where he would actually have finished with that penalty applied. But what a race!
It's not over for 8th place as well. Wolfie and Ben Roberts. Ben Roberts going down the inside into the final corner. Yellow flags, I'm not sure what that's for. Thunder might get Jamie Smalls ran out of fuel.
Oh, he's allowed to get across the line. Ben gets it!
Oh! Wow.
What a race that was. That was incredible. That was incredible. Frozer then stopping the run of Absolute 11's victories. Absolute still finishing in the podium positions, though in 3rd position.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. as Hakan Islamoglu now rounds the final corner to finish a distant P13. But congratulations to Froze. There's going to be commiserations to Joe, who did everything right in that race. But what a race, and what a race that was. That was insane. That was incredible. Hope everyone in the comments as well, 202 comments, enjoyed that race as much as we did. 27 laps on intermediates by Nakler at the end there. 50 people watching. Beautiful to see. That was insane. That was insane.
I thought Bahrain was great. I thought China was better. I didn't think we could top China, to be honest, but we've just topped China with the Netherlands, and honestly, I can't wait for France.
Yeah, me neither. what a race that was. I couldn't believe that's happened. What a race that was. A Premier Series drivers, pat yourselves on the back. I think that's the best race of the season. It was
so far, at least.
Yeah, well, yeah. For the most part, it was largely clean. Wow. So let's take you through the final positions here. Frozer taking the win. Nakler first podium in over a season here in Gavra in second. Absolute Levin in third. Joe with that LLP2 will finish fourth anyway. Guillotine in fifth. Good finish for him. Bon Evil with that puncture on lap 34 in sixth position. F1 Lover in seventh. Thunder in eighth. Ben Roberts in ninth with the last second overtake on the line. And J&B Surreal in 10th. Wolfie just outside the points and in the end in 11th. Shankster from second to 12th in 12th position, obviously. Then Haka, the last of the casters, finish on the lead lap. Tiger finishing a lap down in 14th. Disappointing result for him and for McLaren and the rest of the drivers there, finishing with a DNF to their names. But what a... I said it again. What a race! The Napier saying
Absolutely incredible.
And Napier saying that he had no tyres for the last 11 laps. That was insane. Rodex saying hi, Rowan, to say that Jenny the best streamer on. Oh, thank you, Rodex. That means a lot to all of us here at Gavra Racing. And yeah, that was an insane race. That was mad. Yeah, Frio saying he's scared of tomorrow as well. Napier making his way back onto the podium for the first time in over a year. But we're not done with Zandvoort just yet. Tune in tomorrow where Dutchy and Tiger will be taking you through all of the Super League action from the same track, same time tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for that. And on Friday, 8 o'clock, where in the GT Sport Championship, we're at Interlagos for the final time in Group 4 cars before we move on to Group 3 after a week's break. But Natty, final thoughts?
I mean, I've just seen Napula's comment in the chat. He said after 10 laps, his tyres were 50%. Sorry, 10 laps to go, his tyres were 50%. So how he's managed to get them to the end, just incredible. But that race had everything. It had safety cars, it had overtakes, it had a few controversial incidents. But I'm sure the stewards will sort them all out for the next race in France, which is another great track for both, overtaking in the game, which is evident in past races, and also some cheeky weather changes. So that should be great as well.
Yeah, certainly. I think it rained on the formation up there last week. But thank you, Robert Contava, for the great commentary. See you tomorrow. Jitsi Kev as well, making his comeback. Absolute Levin saying he had 70% on those intermediate tyres at the end of the race. But very, very well done to all of the Premier Series drivers. You've done yourselves incredibly proud. What a race. Thank you to everyone who's joined us this week. And make sure to tune in next week, where we'll be in France for some more Premier Series action. From me and Natty, it's going to be good evening and goodbye.